Okay, let's welcome to AI and Multimedia Magicians. My name is Abhijit. Please help me welcome our Toastmaster for today. Nick, it's all you, sir.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to AI and Multimedia Magician Toastmaster Club. Our club helps you to elevate your presentation skills to the next level using AI tools. We also discuss latest AI technologies and trends. Today we have two speeches, and we will start from a concept introduction, lightning slides, and following up by two speeches. And yeah, I would like to invite Elizabeth to do a timer introduction. Elizabeth?
Okay, thank you, Nick. Hi, everyone. So I'm gonna be the timer for today session. The first speaker and the second speaker will be spending between 15 to 20 minutes. Hopefully, I believe they should be able to keep to the time slot. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And the next item on the agenda is lightning slides. Let me present lightning slides. Yes, and I will do introduction of lightning slides. In lightning slides, we're trying to reverse engineer the Gen AI prompt, and we will show you pictures, and we'll ask you to start your description of the image, starting from the words ChatGPT, Gemini, please draw me the picture, and you will have to describe the picture you will see on the image. And I would like to start with Sonia. Yes, and the disclaimer, all images generated by Gemini and Google today. And yeah, Sonia, you are the first.
Gemini, please draw me a picture of a cat getting ready to jump, but it is in futuristic mode as it has light in her eyes and sitting in a dark scene that looks like a surface of a model planet with the light from the center.
Thank you, Sonia. And by multiple requests, I will share the prompt. And I think it's my best prompt for today. So I will just read it if no one objects. Imagine a gigantic cat sitting in the middle of space, so massive that its gravity wraps space-time. Its fluffy fur attacks light like an event horizon of a black hole, creating optical distortions around it. And yeah, we're going to the next slide. Todd, ready? You have 30 seconds.
Cat sitting on a bench, looking forward with a blurred image of the fall in its background. Also, looks like some candy wrappers on the bench.
Thank you, Todd. And yeah, here's a prompt for future reference. And slide number 3. I will ask Elizabeth. Elizabeth, do you want to try this slide?
Yes, I can try. Gemini, provide me with an image of a cat standing and looking sideways beside a window where there are little insects, like multiple insects surrounded the window frame. Yeah.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Here's the prompt. Yeah, slide number 4, I will ask Ruth. Ruth, do you want to try reverse engineer slide 4?
I'll try.
Okay, you have 30 seconds. And
Just create an image of an animated cat jumping in a field of white flowers. The cat is centered in the middle of the picture and surrounded by small butterflies. Yeah, more? Okay. The cat has green eyes. It's a tabby cat. It is facing forward and its paws are extended towards me. That's it.
Thank you, Ruth. Slide number 5. Manu, would you like to try? Okay, Rashimi, would you like to try to reverse engineer slide number 5? Yes, Diana, I will ask you the next slide, okay?
Thank you.
Oh, Diana, you can take this slide and just type in the chat your reverse engineer from this slide, and I will go to the next
Oh,
slide.
Flying Beauty. I'm sorry.
Sid, do you want to try slide number 6?
Certainly. Create an image of a cat gazing into a pool of water surrounded by a cement border with ripples in the water.
And you still have maybe 15 seconds?
Okay. With a blurry background, it's a calico cat with white paws, and the reflection of the kitty cat is in the ripples of the water.
Thank you. Slide number 7. Manu, do you want to try?
Sure. We have a cat laying down, almost falling asleep on wooden floors with a curtain behind it, with a slight bit of sun coming in through a window.
Okay, thank you. But remember, you have to talk for 30 seconds at least. Okay, slide number 8. Rashmi, do you want to try slide number 8? Rashmi.
Yes, of course. Absolutely. Well, it's a Halloween night. Here comes the black cat and a nice moonlight. Who is she going to get? You or me or the Toastmaster Club members? Oh, man. Well, maybe it's a good sign. Usually the black cat is not a good sign, either crossing you or the road or whenever you're driving. But this could be a blessing in disguise, bringing you some candies home or some goofy tricks. This is my opinion on a Halloween night. Woo! She's approaching our home. Be careful. Give her some milk. You think she eats some cookies? I never had a pet. I don't know. Some kitty food. Thank you. Happy Halloween, which is just end of the month.
Thank you. Let me see if I have. Yeah, I have slide number 9. It's the last slide. Andrew, I saw you joined late. Would you like to try to reverse engineer Gen AI prompt for this picture?
Yes, I can do that. Yes, it's a little Tabby. Tabby was born 6 weeks ago, and she's a little playful. She loves a ball of string. She is fascinated by this ball of string. And the color is so bright It's so, it just reminds her of good vibes. She's just got her clothes on and she's ready to unwind that. See how long it is. She wants to measure the whole house with the smaller string. She's going round and round with the smaller string, but she's standing still. At the moment, something has got her attention. Is it somebody walking in the house? Is it a ghost? Is it a man? Is it a woman? Her eyes are wide open. She is just stuck there. She doesn't know what to do. Should she run? Should she try hide? What should she do? It's Sheila, her boss. A person that's coming to pick her up. Isn't it wonderful? Tabby has been loved by Sheila.
Thank you, Andrew. It's wonderful description. And we are moving to our prepared speeches. I would like to invite speaker number 1, Abhijit Joshi, and it's a motivational strategy, level 4, project 1 speech, question and answer session. Title, AI Showdown. AI with deep learning vs machine learning. What's the real difference? The purpose of this project is for members to learn about and practice facilitating a question and answer session. Time for this speech, 15 to 20 minutes. I would like to welcome Abhijit Joshi. AI Showdown. AI vs deep learning vs machine learning. What's the real difference? Welcome, Abhijit.
We hear these terms, artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning. But do I understand the difference between each one of them? Initially, I was very confused. What is deep learning? What is machine learning? What is AI? But today, I wanted to learn about these three things and understand what are the differences between these three terms. Let's find out. Here is the agenda for today. First, we are going to talk about what is artificial intelligence. Then we'll talk about what is ML or machine learning, followed by what is deep learning, and then we'll go into the comparison or the differences, followed by a recap. Let's start. My first question to you, Sid, what is AI?
AI is a term that apparently a lot of people have a great deal of confusion about. A lot of times they think it's whatever the application that they're working on, and that's the encompassing realm. If it's generative AI, they oftentimes will confuse it with things. And I apologize, I have just swallowed something and it's gone down the wrong windpipe. Can you come back to me for the rest of
Sure, we'll come back to you later. Sanya, when you think of AI, what comes to your mind, Sanya?
AI is a learning machine to think like humans do.
Very, very well said. It thinks like humans. Sometimes it can be better than humans. But the main thing we want to remember is it thinks like humans. That is artificial intelligence. And when you think about artificial intelligence, I want you to think about the universe because it's a very, very vast field. So remember, whenever you think about the AI, think about the universe because it's very vast. But AI has three different parts. There are three different kinds of AI. We have narrow AI. We have AGI, or artificial general intelligence, and the super intelligence. Currently, if you ask me where we are, I'll answer that we are between narrow AI and general AI. Let's go through the differences, the subtle differences of these three different forms of AI. When you think of narrow AI, I want you to think about Anthropic, Cloud, or Gemini, or ChatGPT. They can do one thing at a time. You can ask a question and they will tell you exactly. So that is narrow AI, capable of doing one action at a time. Now moving on, what is Gen AI or general AI? What is general AI or artificial general intelligence? It is the ability to think and do tasks like human beings. AGI will be around us very, very soon, maybe 5 years. But there is a next level, super AI. Super AI has intelligence more than human beings. So that is the big difference between these three forms of AI: narrow AI, artificial general intelligence, and super AI. What are the different applications? The first one that comes to my mind is Netflix. Whenever I'm watching Netflix, it recommends me the movies. So that recommendation system is artificial intelligence. So that is AI. But there are more applications, like autonomous cars. When you look at the autonomous car, that is AI. And finally, a big application that is on the horizon, which is going to make a big splash in the coming decade, is robotics. Robotics will be using AI. For example, there's a company in China, it already has a robot for 16 grand and it can do household things. In the future, we will have robots at home. Now, going on to the next thing. What is machine learning? Sid, what is machine learning?
As I understand machine learning, it's having a computer being able to consume massive amounts of information, being able to synthesize that information, look for existing patterns, and learn, create algorithms, basically, models based on massive amounts of data.
Very good, Sid. Nick, would you like to add anything? What is machine learning?
Yeah, I think the original machine learning definition is when a computer program begins to do something which is not specifically programmed to do.
Very, very well said. It can do something where it is not programmed to do. Sanya, anything else you would like to add?
Definition is that machine learning are programs that make useful decisions based on features that we supplied to them, and those features we extracted from data.
Very, very true. So whenever you think about machine learning, I want you to think about this. The first thing is machine learning is a subset of AI. It's a subset of AI. The second thing I want you to remember whenever you think about machine learning is that it uses structured data. What is structured data? Any data, suppose if it's in Excel form, we are feeding into it. That is a structured data. And the third thing is we input the data, it analyzes the data, and then goes through the model and outputs the prediction. The thing which I want you to remember is sometimes it's not programmed for the specific task. It becomes smarter with time. If I want to share an analogy with you, what is machine learning? Here is the analogy. Think about data as the teacher. And the data is teaching the student. As it's teaching it, it's becoming smarter and smarter and smarter with time. So that is the metaphor for machine learning. As I said before, Here is the loop. First, you input the data, it prepares the data, does the analysis, goes to the model, and then the prediction comes out, and we get the decision. So this loop keeps on going. What are the different applications of machine learning? The first one is targeted advertising. For example, if I go on Brooks Brothers and look at a shirt, later on, when I go into Google or open any website, I can see those advertisements around. That is targeted advertising. That is part of machine learning. Another application of machine learning is spam email filtering. I use Outlook or I also use Gmail. When you see the spam filtering it out, that time ML is in action, machine learning is in action. And here is the last application. This one is fraud detection. Most of the financial companies use that for their credit card customers. When they see a charge which is completely different and it detects that fraud, here ML is in action. Now moving on to what is deep learning. Anyone? Elizabeth, when you think about deep learning, what comes to your mind?
I'm not too sure, but I think it has to do with when the application is able to have knowledge of so many things and is able to provide information regarding whatever inputs or requests that we make.
Very good, Elizabeth. Manu, anything from you? What is deep learning?
Just like machine learning, I believe that deep learning should just be, well, a deeper version of that, being able to get more and more information, especially as time goes on.
Very good, Manu. Nick, what is deep learning?
Deep learning, it's a set of basically deep learning is based on neural networks with multiple layers. That's why it's
definitely it has those neural networks. Yes, Jamal, what is deep learning?
Yeah, and Nick just answered my question. Definitely. So unstructured data, a subset of ML, and has neural networks inspired by the human brain, because this helps in recognizing the images and understanding the speeches by analyzing the data in layers.
Very well said. So I want you to remember the 4 things about deep learning. It's a subset of machine learning. It uses unstructured data like images, speech recognition, or speech. It uses neural network, and it acts like human brain. Now, when I want to share an analogy of deep learning, the one analogy that comes to my mind is the rocket ship. There are so many decision trees in there. There's so many things that are happening at the same time. There are multiple layers. Hence, deep learning is like a rocket ship. What are different applications of deep learning? The first one is the computer vision of the autonomous car. Remember, AI was the total autonomous car, but deep learning is the subset, it's the computer vision of the autonomous car. Face recognition, because it looks for those images. So that is another application. And finally, our AI assistants like Alexa. Those are forms of different examples of deep learning. Now we'll move on to the comparison. How do these compare with each other? The first one, when I told you about AI, think about the universe. And now once you think about the universe, think about a country on one of the planets. That country is the machine learning. And now think about a city in that country, like San Jose. That is deep learning. Another comparison. Now, when you look at the scope, AI has, the scope is very, very broad. Machine learning a little bit lower, and then deep learning lower than that. Deep learning requires massive amount of data. On the other side of the spectrum, AI doesn't require that much amount of data because it can predict, it can think like a human being. Deep learning is more complex as compared to AI. And the learning type, as I said before, deep learning uses unstructured data like images and speech, while ML uses structured data like Excel sheet. And the amount of data requirement for AI is a lot smaller. Now let's see the usages. What are the different usages? For example, AI is used in mostly problem solving that needs any kind of intelligence. ML uses structured data and learns from the models and then does the prediction. Deep learning uses large volumes of data, mostly unstructured data like images and speech. Now finally, I want you to have this image of this Venn diagram. Look at AI as the bigger circle, ML as a bit smaller circle, and DL is the smallest circle. To recap, DL is the subset of ML, ML is the subset of AI. There are different applications for AI, machine learning, and deep learning. Any questions?
Thank you, Abhijit. We will moving into Q&A session. Please raise your hand if you have question. We have about 4 minutes for question session. Okay, if no one is asking questions.
I have a question. Deep learning. So Abhijit, when it comes to deep learning, can you give us some examples of current applications that is using, and just how can we get in touch with those applications?
Think about Tesla. Tesla, when it's using images to make analysis, the computer vision of the Tesla full scale driving, that is the application. So it's used there for image recognition. That is one of the biggest applications of deep learning, the computer vision of the autonomous car.
Thank you. Andrew, you have a question?
Yes, the trading robots. Which area would that fall into?
The robots will come in AI because the robots, they think like human being. So that is the highest one. They will come into artificial intelligence category. Okay. Sid, you had a question?
Yes. Where do you think the greatest opportunities are? Where are the biggest problems? Where are the greatest opportunities?
See, deep learning started in 2012. And deep learning neural networks is very big right now. Gen AI, it's all neural networks. So we are heavily invested in deep learning right now. We are trying to figure out AI. We have figured out machine learning, but AI is something we still don't know how to create AGI. Maybe OpenAI will crack it, but we still don't know. So that is the biggest place where a lot of new discoveries or inventions are going to happen.
Okay, and last question from Diana. Describe a computer machine as a brain with AI computer? Or what's the difference between computer machine versus maybe what is the difference between brain and AI with computer?
Normal computers are still, they don't even come close to deep learning. They are still not very well equipped. If you have a lot of GPUs in it, then we can talk about that. Then it has some capability to think about.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Diana. Nick, we can go to the feedback now.
We don't have time for feedback.
Okay.
Because the next speech is 20 minutes.
Sounds good.
It's already 6:31. If you will have time, we can do feedback session in the end. Depends how much time it will take. Thank you, Abhijit. It was a great presentation about machine learning and versus AI versus deep learning. I would like to invite our second speaker for today, Sanya Damjanovic. And it's a presentation mastery level 5, project 1. Speech prepared to speak professionally. And title is The Payable Fish, Unveiling the Art of Audio-Driven Face Dubbing. The purpose of the speech is for member to practice and developing and presenting a longer speech. I would like to welcome Sanya Damjanovic, The Payable Fish, Unveiling the Art of Audio-Driven Face Dubbing.
Thank you. Yeah, welcome everyone. Today, I will unveil the art of audio-driven face dubbing. I will present definitions that are significant for audio dubbing, then introduce applications, explain categories for lip syncing models. I will showcase 2 examples, and I will revise everything I present in the conclusion. Now I have a small problem with, just a sec. Okay, I hope this is much better. So first, let's start with definitions. So what are important terms one should know when thinking about audio-driven video dubbing? So first, what is dubbing? Does anyone know what dubbing is?
Translation?
Yeah, as it says, dubbing is process of adding audio of one language to video of another. And audio-driven video dubbing is a process that allows the synchronization of facial expressions and lip movements with the audio content. So that, for instance, if the show is recorded in English, and in some countries, such as Spain and Germany, they always do dubbing, meaning there is no subtitles, but simply they use their own actors, local actors, speak over the video, so they get speech in the native language, whereas usually the actors open mouth as corresponds to the original language. So that was the case in Germany and Spain. So the inspiration for this speech was last week release of automatic AI dubbing by Meta. And I recalled that when I was living in Germany in 2006, I was watching the TV show Friends in German, while all actors were had lip movements in English. So it was a bit effort to get accustomed to listening to famous actors, American actors in English. And it also had a social consequence because it interfered with the language learning of kids in Germany. I mean, that were watching general American shows. You can imagine that this audio-driven video dubbing is also could be used for any creator's reel and movie, or even a video call, or in gaming, where the characters and avatars could produce matching mouth movements to a spoken dialogue. So there are different audio-driven face dubbing models, as it's an AI model. However, there are several categories. The first one is based whether the model is person-specific or person-generic. So a person-specific model is a model that is designed to work for a single actor. And it's specifically trained with data captured in controlled conditions. So those are, for instance, AI avatars that were trained on data captured maybe with the actors having different sensors on them, positioned in certain places of their face, or where they are simply in the studio conditions with the green or uniform background, so that the model can be trained exactly on their facial movements. And the other is person generic, where the model trains on general, where the model is trained in general. So it means that the model uses a single reference frame, so only one picture of a person, and can match any video to any audio, making these person generic models ideal for use in films and TVs. So as one single reference frame is used, and that is then the model is used to apply audio-driven face dubbing. And there is a popular and open source model that I will present today, that's Wave to Lip. Lip syncing, so audio dubbing is also known and referred to as lip syncing AI avatars talking face generation. And it's very popular, and there are a lot of companies that sell solutions, and you may use for your own applications. And there is also, also this topic, so face dubbing is a very popular research topic. So there are a lot of papers that are published on that develop different models. And those models can also be categorized based on the face model they use. So whether it's 2D, so it means one frame, one picture of a person's head, or a three-dimensional model. Also, the algorithms and models developed can be categorized based on the region of the face targeting, whether it's just lower face, whole face, or even whole head. And here in this picture, you see examples that which part of the image, part of the face, has been modified in order to achieve face dubbing. The model, open source model I wish to present today is Wave to Lip model. That's according to mentioned categories. It's person generic, so it means it's not trained on only one person data, but it's widely applicable to any person. And it's 2D based model, meaning as input, we will use one frame of the video or image. It's simply one frame is simply 2D image. And this is a model that uses only lower part of the face. And so the resulting frame is referred to as a target frame, and it has the mouth region masked out, as we wish to interpolate it and to produce that lower part of the image to be congruent with the rest of the image and to correspond to the text we wish to talking head to be speaking out. And we start from reference frames of the same person at a different time. Then we superimpose audio, and we reconstruct the masked region. And now I have task for you. So as up till now, I gave several presentations that were multimodal. So always combining different types of data, like maybe text or caption with the image, or text description of the image, and then generative model would generate the image. So now we have again a multimodal system because we wish to align audio with a picture or a frame. And as you can see here on the most left picture is with the caption audio represents a MEL spectrum of audio signal. Has anyone heard about maybe MEL spectrum? So I will, as I started my research career with in signal processing, so I'm happy to explain the background of this MEL spectrum. Namely, as audio is simply as you know, there is a certain frequency bandwidth that we can hear as humans, and not all frequency bands are created equal. So human ear is more sensitive to lower frequencies, as more content that we hear is in lower frequencies, whereas higher frequencies are actually where the ear is less sensitive. And as we get older, we also hear less of those higher frequencies. And that's why this MEL scale is created to represent this human auditory perception. So in this way, lower frequencies are spaced more linearly as they are more important, and higher frequencies are spaced logarithmically, reflecting our ear, our hearing system. And the first step in calculation of this MEL scale is calculating simply Fourier spectrum of the audio signal. And that's how we created this 2D image representing a characteristic of the audio signal that we wish to superimpose on the face image. And this MEL scale, so MEL spectrum of the audio signal has been used also in speech recognition, music processing, for instance, genre classification and music transcription and audio generation, also for voice synthesis in text-to-speech systems, and so on. So, question for you that I wish you to think about is, what type of information do we need to align for this application of dubbing? And I will read all the questions, and then please, you may raise your hand to answer. Then it's if you remember the previous presentations that were about generative techniques, generative AI techniques, which generative model has been used, for instance, in this case? Do you vote for GANs, stable diffusions, or autoencoders? Any? Yeah, please, if you want to share any insights.
Tanya, can you tell what is GANs?
Generative adversarial networks. That's what I presented 2 weeks ago. Yeah, good point. Generative adversarial networks, stable diffusion, or autoencoder. Okay, first, which type of information needs alignment? Okay, Nick?
I can try. You need to have audio and lips movement. I think you need to build a graph or like some facial recognition and much facial recognition or like much lips expression to the words in native language.
Okay, correct. And can you guess which would you use generative adversarial networks? So to recap from the last time, it's when we use to generate fake faces that do not exist, that the discriminator could not recognize that they are fake. Then stable diffusion is the technique that uses adding and removing noise, and autoencoders are similar. So we have answered that we need to align audio, text, image, and language. Yeah, that's correct. So the answer is that indeed, as we have those informations of different type, so multimodal, so we definitely need to align the spoken text and the movement of the lips. So it's called lip syncing. And the answer is, yeah, you could use any of these generative models. And let's see what's used here in this example. In this model, wig to lip. So as you can see, there are a lot of different elements of this model. And so first, let's see this blue and green parts. And it's this is actually a type of convolutional neural network as we feed in the images. And convolutional neural network, from the dimension of the images, it creates embeddings or latent vectors that are again stacked, and then autoencoder so like sucks in the information, makes those latent variables, and when training it, it produces exactly the same. So this is the way to train this system to find the good coefficients. So where it means we will feed the synchronized speech in the form of these MEL spectrograms. We will feed the images of that are lip synced, and we will also feed these images with missing bottom part, because we wish this to the whole system to learn to calculate exactly what the ground truth, so how it should be. And with the idea that we don't have this ground truth, so in prediction mode, we won't pass the ground truth, but we will pass our this top of the head parts, and we hope that the system will correctly fill in the missing parts of the image, where that frames will correspond to the text that we will feed to generate audio. So the answer is here. This part of the network is autoencoder, where goal of autoencoder is to produce exactly what we feed him with. And we also have this general adversarial part, as we have this discriminator that we will train further to make sure that the training is done so good that discriminator cannot detect that it's fake. So this is really a multi-layered system. And on top of that, we have a lip synchronization expert. So that's also a neural network that will help us train the system. So this web-to-lip system has been published in 2020. So it's only 4 years ago, and it seems like a distant past. It's relatively low quality because it considers that this pixel region we are predicting is 48 times 96 pixels in dimensions. And you might say that it's not high definitions, it does produce poor visual quality. And lip syncing is not flawless. So let's fast forward to now. So it's only 4 years later. And a week ago, there was a MetaConnect 2024, where automatic dubbing AI was released. And that was my inspiration for this speech today, because I got notification on LinkedIn that a colleague I met once in the Netherlands, Maya Pantic, was sharing that she participated in this development. So I was curious to see and to find the explanation of the magic behind this model. And that is a model for lip syncing based on diffusion models that are now much better than GANs. And these diffusion-based generative models allow for more realistic and stable data synthesis. And their performance on image and video generation has surpassed that of other generative models. So I found this paper that was published on most famous or more prestigious AI conference, named Computer Vision and Pattern Recognition Conference from 2024. So specific for this conference, and I think all other conferences on AI, is that they had 11,532 submissions, and only 2,719 papers were accepted to be presented in one form during the conference. And you can access to all papers as it's open access. So here, if you remember, 2 weeks ago I presented about, actually it was 4 weeks ago, about diffusion models. It's a system that recovers images from noise based on the prompts it gets In this case, prompts are images. So what are prompts in this case? It's motion frame, so it's estimated motion, it's identity frame, so it's the person we wish to move to lip sync the text, and it's noisy target image. So we wish to improve this image using diffusion model. And audio encoder, audio encoded content we wish had to speak. Additionally, what was here a novelty, that they combined, they observed landmarks, lip landmarks that are well known from the previous era of facial lip syncing and recognition. and apply it as a constraint to this diffusion model. To conclude, so I would like you to remember from today's presentation that audio-driven face dubbing is the synchronization of facial expressions and lip movements with the audio content. There are a plethora of applications. There are several lip syncing model categories, such as whether it's person-specific or generic model, or person-generic, whether it uses as input two-dimensional frame image or three-dimensional model, which part of face it uses, or does it use a whole head, and that different generative models such as GAN-based or diffusion-based models exist. Today I presented two person-generic lip sync models, Wave to Lip from 2020 and Diffused Heads from 2024. And when we're talking in general about generative AI, it's important to keep in mind ethical considerations and use and regulation that go together with this technology. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanya. Before we move into feedback, and we have a few minutes for feedback, I will ask Sid and Todd. I will like to give a word to Mark. Mark, your announcement.
Yes, thank you, Nick. Thank you, Nick. Well, actually, I'm going to save it to the end, but the important thing first, right? Announcement. So we have a district contest on the 26th, and we need to have a club speech contest before then. So you have 2 weeks to do that. And if anybody would like to have a icebreaker speech that they would like to compete in your club contest, yes, yep, just icebreaker speech, and anybody can compete, and just give me the name by the 22nd of the winner from your club. Okay, so that's the announcement I have. And I have one question for Sonia, the other area director. You mentioned babblefish in your title, and I was looking forward to hearing you about babblefish. Would you like to say something about that?
Yeah, so that's the whole idea behind this technology is that it enables that the babblefish phenomenon from the Hitchhiker's Guide from the Galaxy, that you may have any person speaking any language and then video talking in any other language with synced lip movements. So we are almost there. Maybe we are there with the technology.
This is great, Sonia. Yeah, I'll ask just for quick feedback. Sid, would you like to give a feedback?
Certainly. Thank you, Sonia. This is a very important presentation, and going into an election year, I think we're going to see some examples of your stuff put to nefarious use. One of the aspects that I spend a lot of time researching is how do we present information visually, and making sure that we can align the way we present with the way the brain actually processes that information. And so one of the aspects that we've concentrated on, and when we're dealing with especially visual aids, is that we have something called a cognitive load. And the more information I put in front of somebody, the harder it is for me to consume it. And there's a point in which if we put so much information, our brain no longer is able to consume any of it. So when you take that concept, and this is a biological function, you apply it to a slide deck. Can somebody easily consume this information that is presented on a slide and come to the conclusion that you want them to come to? And so I would ask you to go back, if you can, and look at the slides that you've presented and use that litmus test. Can somebody look at this slide and come to the conclusion that you would have wanted them to come to. The other thing is that, again, that cognitive load, less is more. The less you give me to consume, the more I'm going to appreciate it. If you give me a ton of information, I'm trying desperately to absorb it all. I'm either going to be looking at the slide or listening to you. Because of the limited cognitive load, I can't do both. So the question I would have for you, the second question I would have for you is, do you think that you're going to your audience is going to end up competing, or you're going to be competing with your own slides? So I think if you look at those two things and with those two tests in mind, I have a feeling you'll redesign the slide deck that you have presented.
Yeah, thank you. I agree.
Thank you, Sid. And yes, we ran out of time, but I still would like our guests for feedback. Rashmi, how did you find our club, and what's your feedback about our meeting today? Rashmi? Okay, I will ask Andrew. Oh, okay, Rashmi, go on.
Okay. Oh, absolutely. Thank you for that, to give me the opportunity for the feedback. It was amazing. Great pointers. Learned a lot about it, and I was very, very impressed. And of course, she had done so much research and used all AI and all the things we learned today. I'm not very familiar with everything. Only ChatGPT is my fear. I try to use it, but lots of heavenly information. Like almost there was an encyclopedia I was listening to. Thank you so much for presenting. Thank you, Abhijit. And thank you.
Thank you, Rashmi. I would like to ask our second guest for feedback. Andrew, what's your feedback about our meeting today?
I enjoyed it. A lot of information. I would like to suggest for the speakers, put more stories to it instead of just giving. And I echo the thing, too much information on the slides. You're giving a speech, not just giving a slide presentation. Rather have less on the slides and more of you speaking. You the speaker, not the slides. And I'm in South Africa, and it's 3:00 in the morning, and I happened to wake up and I saw you guys there. I was at your club about 2 years ago. So, maybe you'll see me in another 2 years. Who knows?
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you. I think it concludes our today's meeting. Abhijit, do you want to make any announcement?
No, just Manu, how was your experience, Manu?
I think that both presentations went pretty well. I do agree that some of the presentations had a lot of information in them, and I would say keep a little bit more concise information. That way you're more focused on the speaker and what the speaker is talking than trying to balance both the presentation as well as what the speaker is saying. But overall, I think both presentations went really great. I learned a lot. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Manu. Sid, how was your experience, Sid?
You know, I love these kinds of talks. Even if you don't understand all the information, your brain is expanded a little bit. You start to hear more and more of the jargon. You start to understand how people are approaching things and how they're applying those kinds of things. So, you know, the presentations in general, I think they're such great value to anybody just listening. If we can just absorb more and more of this, we'll get further and further along in our learning process. And as far as the presentations, I have to agree with Manu on those things, that very often we have the situation where a speaker is competing with their own slides. They're supposed to be an aid, right? They're not supposed to be a data dump. So if your slide deck isn't supporting your commentary, you probably need to reevaluate it. And usually simple is always better.
Thank you, Sid. Jamal, how was your experience, Jamal?
It was actually, I liked it. Abhijit, your presentation was pretty much like, wow, I'm actually sitting in a class and, learning at the elementary level. Sanjay was more like, I'm in the advanced class. Actually, I have a different opinion. I like the slides that Sanjay provided, mainly because the audio wasn't clear from where I was. So the slides helped me to just zoom in and see what she was talking about. So I was able to make sense out of it. Yeah, even though they were heavy, but the slides helped people who couldn't listen properly the audio. So I felt it was actually complementing from where I was sitting. Sanjay, one thing I would like to say is when you ask those 3 questions, if you could make it a little bit interactive by making it multiple choice questions or something, so that, we are kind of looking at the answer, or in this way, we also feel engaged. Like if you had some multiple choice, that'll be cool. And then at the end, if you can share with us a list of resources where you got this information from, that will make it more, add more credit to your presentation. So at least in this way, we know where to go to get additional information. Overall, really good. I felt like I was sitting in a classroom and actually learning about AI. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Todd, how was your experience, sir?
So, after a long day of work, and it's already 10 o'clock here in Montreal, I felt a little sleepy, and some of the detail just went like whoop, right over my head. What I often like in a presentation is a handout in which some of the material is missing. So like, say there's a phrase, but you take the word out of the phrase. So you have to listen to the presentation to find the word to put into the handout, or a filled out handout at the end. So like if you had a working along with you kind of document, and then at the end you have the completed document. I think that keeps a bit more engagement because people have to be constantly focusing to get the information. And then at the end, they got the carrot of, oh, actually, you know how you do it? You ask for feedback. And when they provide you the feedback, that's when you send the second document with all the answers. So you don't give them the answers until they provide you the feedback, and then they get the answers as a gift. So I think that makes it a little bit more tangible and a little bit more stickyable, especially if you want to talk to the 3 different ways of learning, right? Some people are audio, visual, and kinesthetic, and some of them are more tactile. I'm more of a tactile kind of person, so I just like that as an extra little point of information, excitement going forward, whatever you want to call it, my 2 cents. But I enjoyed it, kept me awake, and I'll probably come back again.
Thank you, Todd. Thank you. And Diana has feedback for us. Slideshow was very good with background. Thank you so much, Diana. Thank you for joining us. Everyone, will see you again next week, 6 p.m. Pacific. We have 2 speeches, one from Vamshi and another one from Rishikesh. So stay tuned. Join us again. We have different kinds of presentations. Media. You're welcome, Diana. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful evening. We'll see you again.
Bye-bye. Good night.
Thank you.
Bye. 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 Bye.
Bye.
Great feedback, Sid. Great feedback. Yes, I agree with you.
Yeah, I can understand why you would do that, especially in a classroom.
Yes.
But if you're in this kind of a forum, or if you're talking amongst peers,
yes,
calling somebody out and potentially putting them on a spot where they can embarrass themselves, you're not likely to make a whole lot of friends with that.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
So I'd love to chat with you more, or if you think there's somebody else, about how AI has been transforming the way people present information. So, like, for example, this was a great, talk where we were looking at people being able to translate a person's video so that they can actually present or talk in another language. I thought that was just, fantastic. That's a great example. Do you know of any others? Have you seen any others, or do you know anybody that's concentrating on that specifically?
I have a friend who makes movies, like
Mhm.
trailers, using AI. So he's into designing and everything. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to chat with them. But if
Sure.
you also, the other aspect that we've been looking at is, how can we help presenters better prepare, do
Yeah.
better research, to have deeper understandings about what the audience's world is like, and in regards to that particular topic.
Yes.
Right. So if you're giving a talk in front of a bunch of product designers,